You're listening to Menopause Natural Solutions, episode 65, The 50-Year-Old Shoulder. Welcome to Menopause Natural Solutions, your podcast for all things perimenopause, menopause and beyond. Stay tuned as your host, naturopath Jennifer Harrington, explains how to use natural therapies to find your ultimate health and happiness during your transition. Hello ladies, and welcome back to another episode of Menopause Natural Solutions. I'm your host, naturopath Jennifer Harrington, and I have a really weird topic today. It's called the 50-year-old shoulder. Have you heard this saying before? Did you realize that shoulder complaints are so common at this stage of life that they've been given the nickname the 50-year-old shoulder? Now, the most common issues are frozen shoulder, but also rotator cuff disease. So let's discuss what's happening around midlife to make this such a common time for problems like this to occur. Now, like everything to do with health, it is a multifactorial problem. And the more risk factors you have, the more likely it is that you will start to develop shoulder pain. So risk factors include going through menopause, so having a lower hormonal status. So shoulder issues definitely increase as your estrogen levels lower. And it's really interesting to take a global perspective on this, as in certain parts of the world, shoulder pain is actually a bigger issue than hot flushes. And Japan is an example where this is the case. Another risk factor is the lack or the loss of collagen. Most women know their bone mass decreases with age. But did you realize that your collagen levels also decrease with age? Collagen is a structural component of your body. It acts like a glue to keep everything in place. And I have spoke about the importance of collagen in a previous episode, so go back and listen to that one if you haven't before. So the collagen loss starts to accelerate in a woman's 40s, and by 50, the amount of collagen loss can cause structural weakness, and this increases the risk of damage. Other risk factors include having a history of falls or previous injuries, but not just to the shoulder, could also be the neck or the elbow that is also impacting on the shoulder. There is a strong link between blood sugar disorders and shoulder issues. Roughly 30% of diabetics have a shoulder disorder. Add in being female and midlife, and this number significantly increases. Women with thyroid disease are more likely to develop shoulder issues, and the same can be said the other way around. The common thread between the two conditions is inflammation. Having any autoimmune diagnosis increases your risk. Did you know one school of thought is that frozen shoulder is itself an autoimmune disease? Other risk factors include being a smoker or being obese. But guys, that is enough of the bad news. You know I'm not all about doom and gloom. I'm about solutions. So let's talk about prevention and let's talk about repair. So it's vitally important to reduce inflammation. And this starts with your diet. So cut out processed, sugary foods. We really want the focus to be on fresh fruits, vegetables, salads. I need you to add in lots of beneficial fats. We need to eat adequate animal proteins and have lots of bone broth. And don't forget to spice things up a little bit. Beneficial spices for inflammation include turmeric, ginger, garlic, saffron, and they also taste very delicious. Well, to my taste buds anyway. So add them in as many dishes as possible. When we're looking at essential supplementation, fish oil, we really need to lubricate the joint from the inside out. But fish oil is also anti-inflammatory, so bring it on. We want collagen. One of the risks of shoulder injury at this age is because of this reduction in collagen. So we want to supplement with collagen, but also knowing in your diet, bone broth and animal proteins are a very good way to get it in the diet. And collagen is going to help to stabilize and rebuild your connective tissue. If we're looking at herbal medicines, things like turmeric and boswellia have a phenomenal reputation for reducing inflammation. Treatment really needs to have a manual component. And I would try multiple. Really see what's in your local area, but do at least one of these. Chiropractic, osteopathy, acupuncture, physical therapy, exercise physiology. And it goes without saying that if you have one of the concomitant health conditions, the ones we discussed, diabetes, thyroid, any autoimmune condition, that we can't expect the shoulder to be fully recovered unless we've also addressed these other linked health conditions. So guys, I hope I have provided you with lots of strategies and potential solutions if your shoulder is giving you any problems at this stage of life. And remember that prevention is better than a cure. So if your shoulders are working perfectly well, keep them moving, because immobilization is a risk factor that I forgot to mention before. All right. Well, thank you for listening to another episode. If you guys have been enjoying the episodes and you would like to do some further work with me, please don't hesitate to reach out. I offer a complimentary discovery call where you can chat to me about what's going on with your menopausal transition and find out ways that you can work with me. Have a wonderful, wonderful week, and I look forward to talking to you again next week. Bye for now. Thank you for listening to Menopause Natural Solutions. This podcast contains general information about menopause. It is provided as a guide and it is not intended to replace medical advice. Opinions of guests are their own, and this podcast does not endorse or accept responsibility for statements made by guests. If you have enjoyed today's episode, please leave a rating and review.